The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And good evening, everyone. I hope that you're having a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Always remember, folks, freedom is not free. I'll have more on that throughout the hour. A number of headlines I'm following, a number of issues we have to get to, a number of issues that are on my mind. 800-848-9222. What's going on with Iran? I don't know. Maybe you folks have a better idea than I do. The Trump administration declares, quote, no dust, no dollars for Iran, that the Islamic Republic must give up nuclear material before sanctions relief. Of course, we're going to deal with what happened at the White House. I don't know what's going on, folks, in the world. I don't know why in the greatest country on earth, we simply can't, you can use any term you want to, hospitalize, institutionalize, lock them up, the mentally ill. Look at what happened. You have an innocent person shot. You have the alleged shooter dead. You have all of these upset agents. You have all these upset reporters. Yet another firing near the White House. We'll deal with that. I don't know if you paid much attention on Friday, but guess who was in our neck of the woods? President Trump. And boy, was he on fire, giving it to Governor Hochul, telling her, Kathy, quote from the president, be careful. But I want to know what is wrong in the world. The Giants quarterback, Jason Dart, spoke for all of 1 minute introducing the president of the United States. And he's under fire online for doing exactly that. When does this nonsense stop? All the man did was introduce the president of the United States of America. But because of Trump derangement syndrome, everything is supposed to be okay. 800-848-9222. What's not okay, and, I get it, First Amendment right, I get it, but it's time to put these anti-Israel protesters in their place. And a programming note, by the way, I'm with you now until 1 a.m. Coming up at 6 a.m. this morning, I'll be joining a panel including our owner-operator that's here locally in New York on 77 WABC. Our station owner, John Katsimatidis, on the holiday, coming in as he often does, and we'll be doing the show from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. I'll be back at 3 p.m. and then back again 24 hours from now at midnight. But JFK Airport, they just don't want peace. But why are you doing this here? Why don't you go over to Palestine and fight the battle from there, phonies? JFK Airport, chanting vile things. People arriving, right, at the airport, inside the airport. Listen to what happened. Why is it tolerated? You tell me. I get it with the First Amendment. Why is that tolerated at an airport? Why? We'll zero in on many topics over the course of the next 2 hours this Memorial Day weekend. But Chicago. Hey, Mr. Mayor in Chicago, how about doing a good job in protecting the people? Brandon Johnson, how about that? Well, over the weekend in Chicago, 21 people shot, including children, a mass shooting, 5 police officers injured, another day in Chicago. You cannot make this up. Take a listen.
Officers say around 3 a.m, that's when they were in the area near 25th and Washington, and that's when they did hear gunshots. Officers say they did find those 4 victims. Among those who were shot include an 18-year-old, 2 16-year-old girls, and a 14-year-old boy. They were all taken to Mount Sinai Hospital, where they are currently being treated. It's still unclear what exactly led up to the shooting, and at the scene there was lots of debris and also trash scattered on the ground. Officers could also be seen escorting 2 people in handcuffs. It's unclear if they are facing any charges. Now, investigators say the shooter ran away from the scene. Police are asking the public to come forward with any information.
So, Mayor Brandon Johnson, no justice, no peace, right? That's what counts to you, right? Oh, it don't matter. It don't matter how many black people are killed in Chicago. The only thing that counts for Brandon Johnson is injustice. No justice, no peace, right? Right, Brandon Johnson, you are the absolute worst. You know, I thought after the last mayor in Chicago, the woman mayor, I said it can't get any worse. And then they went and found this guy from under some rock, the absolute worst. Over the weekend, here we are, Memorial Day weekend. We're about to start with your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. Shots fired at the White House, a man who happened to be mentally ill.
That President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
No. It's almost become like an active shooter drill for the school system, but for reporters. So you heard the journalist there. She's doing her stand-up, what we call stand-ups. That's when you see them on camera talking to you, reciting the story. And she hears in the background, pop, 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 down. This is what's happening in America. I don't understand. I really want somebody to explain to me. You know, you have these pandering politicians that close these hospitals for the mentally ill. I don't understand how it can be responsible leadership for this to be tolerated. Lock them up. Why are you leaving these people on the street? It's inhumane. Why are you doing this? So this man, 21 years old, from Maryland, killed by federal agents as he opened fire at a White House checkpoint. He had said in the past he wanted to get arrested there, trying to approach the White House before. He was a former high school athlete, Amazon driver, and he believed he was God. He thought he was God. Nasir Best, his name, was on a track team in high school, where he graduated from in 2023. There were troubling signs. He was evicted from his apartment for failing to pay rent, didn't even bother to show up for court proceedings. This guy was just an absolute mess. We're about to start with your calls, but first, Fox News on this alleged shooter.
At least twice last year and had a history of mental health issues. Court record State Best was charged in July with trying to enter a restricted area near the White House. Authorities say Best told them he was Jesus Christ and that he wanted to get arrested. Best was also reportedly detained by Secret Service the previous month for flagging down agents and making threats. The president saying in part on Truth Social, thank you to our great Secret Service and law enforcement for the swift and professional action taken this evening against a gunman near the White House who had a violent history and possible obsession with our country's most cherished structures. The president was at the White House when the shooting happened, but he was not affected and the suspect never got into the perimeter. In fact, the president stayed at the White House throughout the evening as he tries to secure a deal with Iran. The incident happened around 6 p.m. local time. Many reporters heard the shots, sending them hitting the ground for cover. They ran to the briefing room as the White House was placed on lockdown for nearly an hour. A Secret Service spokesperson said the suspect came to the checkpoint near 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. And per their preliminary investigation, they say as the man walked up, he took a gun from his bag and began firing at officers. Agents shot back and hit the gunman, who later died at a local hospital. Secret Service said a bystander was shot during the incident as well, but it's unclear whether they were initially hit by the suspect or during the crossfire.
What does it take to open up these beds for the mentally ill again? Why are we tolerating this? People that are paranoid schizophrenic. I still recall a few years ago when the Secret Service had to kill a woman suffering from from paranoid schizophrenic. She tried to drive her car past the White House gate. You do something like that with the Secret Service, you have a suicide wish. You're not going to make it. It's as simple as that. 800-848-9222. We're about to get to President Trump in our area Friday. He was up in my area in Rockland at Rockland Community College in Suffering, and the president was on fire. We'll get to that in just a minute, but I want to start with some of your calls on this busy news weekend. Dominic Carter here with you. Let's see here. Let's start with Mike in New Jersey, line 4. Mike, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, do you know what true Trump derangement system is?
I'm listening. You're about to say something stupid. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Excuse me. True Trump derangement syndrome is when man can say what he wants.
Oh, you don't think I figured it out? This is Walter in Baltimore. You don't think I recognize your voice in 2 seconds?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You don't think I recognize your voice in 2 seconds? You don't think I can pick up your mannerisms and how you pace your stupid voice? You don't think I can pick that up?
Excuse me. You
know what I think is stupid? I think your point in your call is stupid. But I'll play this game with you for another few seconds until I get bored. Go ahead.
Excuse me. I am not Walter, first of all. Please don't call me Walter. Walter, I respect Walter, but I am not Walter.
Ah, you respect Walter because you're Walter. Go ahead with your point.
My Trump derangement syndrome is when Trump...
Or is that Walter in the background coaching you?
I don't...
Now, you don't think I can hear the person in the background? Are you stuck on stupid? You don't think I can hear the person in the background? You don't think I'm trained to pay attention to the sound?
Dominic, what is this?
Okay, what is the point you're trying to make? I'm getting increasingly bored with your call because I don't like the whole premise of it.
This man is full of hot air, and he can
right. He's full of hot air, and not you, right? And not you, right? So Trump is full of hot air, and not you, correct?
Excuse me. Am I talking to John Katzenmatidi? What are you saying, Dominic? You can't just call me another man and just push it on me.
Okay, what is the point you're trying to make? For the last time, I'm getting increasingly bored.
The man who makes promises and he doesn't keep them.
Wait, the man. Who are you referring to? Who are you referring to?
President Donald John Trump.
Right. Okay, so is it fair to say you're a Trump skeptic, hater? Is that fair to say?
Answer my point, Dominic. Don't call me.
Is that I know. Listen, I'm going to ask this one more time, and then you're going to meet Mr. Click if you don't answer the question. Is it fair to say that you're a Trump hater?
Dominic, you're not answering my question. Meet
Mr. Click. Thank you for the call. Let's go for Joe. Go to Joe in New Jersey, line 5. Good evening, Joe. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Good evening, Dominic. You know what's wrong in this country? People are voting, like if you're a Democrat, you're groomed to vote for that party. You don't realize you could have a better person. And you could, I'm a Democrat, but I vote Republican because I vote for the better person. If I think a Democrat is better, I'll vote for him. So, but I noticed that in the Democratic Party, they're Democrats and they swing with the party regardless if the guy's a stiff or not. I don't do that.
Well, you are correct. You are correct, Joe. You know, I got to be straight with you, man. I've spent a lot of time dissecting, analyzing my upbringing, right? And how all the boys in my neighborhood, all the girls, we were all thought to believe that Republicans are the boogeyman and the Democrat is our savior, right? And what I'm starting to realize, Joe, when you think about this, is that especially in communities of color, what's the best way to say this? You're taught instinctively to look for free. And you don't even realize it. You go based on the candidate that's promising you free things. And you don't even, so this goes back historically, many years, and you don't even realize it. Instinctively, in communities from which I come, how are you taught to automatically hate the police? Automatically. And automatically vote Democratic. But I am here to tell people, Joe, and I'm going to give you the final say in a second, if you don't change that way of thinking, you will be stuck on stupid for the rest of your life and never get anywhere. And at the end of the day, if you don't make your own independent decision, that doesn't mean you vote Republican. It doesn't mean you vote Democrat. What it means is you should honestly sit down and vote for what's in your best interest. You don't vote for someone because they're a failed rapper and because they show up at the nightclub and they say they're down with you. You've got to vote your interests. You've got to figure out what your interests are. Go ahead, Joe.
Exactly right, Dominic. That's what I do. I look at the candidates and I know who's the better man. That's who I'll vote for. But people aren't doing that, though. They're going with their party. They're groomed to go with the party, and they don't care if the other guy is better.
Correct. Joe, thank you for the wonderful call. Let's go to Sergio, staying in New Jersey, line 4. Sergio, good evening. What's on your mind?
Dominic, love the show, man. How you doing? First-time caller, man.
Wonderful.
The TDS syndrome, it's all fake. It's all brainwashing. You know, everybody at one point in time loved Trump. Everybody called him. Everybody wanted him at their parties. They all wanted to go to his parties.
Absolutely.
And all the racist cards and all the pedophile crap. It's all lies, and these weak-minded, brainwashed people really pick up on. You know, the Democrats are the enemy of the people, and I hate to say that because I want to sound. It's true. It's 100%. It's 100% true. When all they do is want to cater, they want to cater to illegal aliens, and illegal aliens is not a race. So can't be racist because you don't want illegal aliens in our home and, you know, funding everything that they do. They get everything when they come across the border. They get everything. They got everything. And people forgot that Biden and the Democrats ran on open borders. So when people are questioning what happened at the border, exactly what they said they wanted to happen, wanted it to happen.
You're correct.
You know, and then you know with the other thing with the no kings and you know fascists and all this other crap they call my president. They call him that, and they attempted 4 times on his life, and they just had another attempt over the weekend at the White House. Now, if he was the tyrant and he was the dictator, none of this would be happening. People would be killed. People would be hung. People would be shot. People would be killed on sight. That's correct. You know. And then in closing, my final point is Kamala Harris. We would not know her name if it wasn't for DEI and if it wasn't for Joe Biden saying we had to have a woman vice president. She had to be black. She wasn't even at 1%. Over at the caucus, before the caucuses in Iowa, she was nobody, and she still is nobody, but she was front and center because she got wheeled in front of us. Now, the Democrats, the Democrat Party, all the people that are on the Democrats should be mad because they couldn't pick their soldier to go against Trump. Because here we go, you couldn't pick somebody because she was forced down your throat, just like the LGBTQ and all the trans and all this other crap going on. Everything is being shoved down our throats left and right.
Hey, Sergio, please don't get me started on the transgender stuff. I'm going to deal with it later on. This A.B. Hernandez in high school out in California, you know, I'm trying to find the correct word to describe this situation. I don't know whether to call her Miss Hernandez. I don't know whether to call her Mr. Hernandez. But she has the physique. She has the physique. Let me just finish this, Sergio. She has the physique of a straight-up male athlete. She looks like a man, a well-groomed, body-wise, athletic man. And because she wants to identify as a woman, she's out there competing with girls in high school sports. And now all these girls, and this has to be absolutely demoralizing, they've got to share first place with this transgender student. And the transgender student's mother reportedly told her daughter, his son, whatever, that, it's going to be hard for us because it's an election year. Hey, Sergio, you just alluded to this. I want you to help me out here. When did we get to the point where the rights of one transgender athlete is more important than hundreds of female athletes? And this happens over and over all across the country. How did the rights of one transgender male become more important than all these female athletes when we have Title IX that's supposed to protect these young ladies?
And that's what Democrats cry about, Title IX, because that was exactly what it was for. It's for women's sports and for individuality and to be able to compete on the same level, but with women. Now, where we lost that was mental illness. We lost that a long time ago, where it was looked upon as being heroic. It's not heroic. There's something wrong with you. You're absolutely mentally, you're missing something. There's something wrong. And instead of the Democrats and political parties, instead of addressing the mental illness, and you know what I say it is? I think it's the pills and the antidepressants and all the pills that were given to the kids in school when they were too hyper. I think that those people, for the years of taking that medication, it seeped into their bloodline. It just was passed down to this generation where all the mental illness is really at now. That's my opinion.
I hear you, Sergio. I've been thinking about this because this weekend I said to myself, now, how are you going to describe this A.B. Hernandez? She looks like a safety on the football team. That's how athletic she or he is. How do we just let her say, oh, I'm a girl, and let her compete? There's a reason why we have women's sports. It's for their self-esteem. They have the same rights that males have to engage in sports. And you're going to let an athlete decide, oh, I'm not a dude anymore, I'm a girl, and compete against females? It's not. This A.B. Hernandez in California, we're permitting this pretty boy Gavin Newsom so you can run for president? And are you delusional? Folks, whatever you do, and I've interviewed the pretty boy many times, whatever you do, don't let your wife go near Gavin Newsom. That's all I'm saying. Don't let it happen, right? I don't know how he survived the scandal of sleeping with his chief of staff's wife. But in California, he's untouchable. And Kamala Harris and all of that nonsense that goes on. I mean, I just don't understand how America wins by letting an athlete say, I'm not a male anymore, I'm a girl. And because I want to win trophies. I want to be number one. I don't want to compete against men where it's fair. I want to compete where I have an edge where they can't compete with me. And we accept that. How did we get to this point? Oh, I'm a girl, but you don't look like a girl. There's nothing about you that looks like because you say you're a girl, you should be able to compete with girls? I don't think so. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. I feel like dancing listening to this, except it's Sunday night. And Dominic Carter here with you folks. 800-848-9222. President Trump at Rockland Community College the entire time on Friday, I'm watching and I'm like, can you imagine Biden going off prompter and talking off the cuff the way President Trump is? I don't think so. Before we get to a little bit of what the president had to say, and also Governor Patterson on earlier today with our owner, John Catsimatidis, a lot to get to, and the transgender issue. Let's go to Lou, line 4, Floral Park, New York. Good evening, Lou. What's going on?
Good evening. This transgenderism is being taught in the schools. My nephew's 5-year-old son came home and said, Dad, my teacher said it's okay if I want to be a girl. He was in Catholic school the next week. It's being taught at a very early level.
Right. I'm laughing, Lou, because I call that right out of the Dominic Carter school. My child would have been yanked immediately from the school as well. I just
this is
understand.
what my nephew did, yes. Yeah, like I said, the next week he was enrolled in Catholic school. He was not putting up with that kind of indoctrination.
So, Lou, help me out here. Why are we... Listen, I'm all for the transgender community. I really am. I want them to be happy. I want everybody to be happy. I want them to find love just like everybody else finds love or tries to find love. But how did we get to the point? So, like, you can't even sit down and watch a movie from Hollywood anymore, because all of a sudden you'll be watching the movie and part of the plot will be two men to start tongue kissing each other in the TV show. How did we get to this point?
Well, it has become acceptable. What was thought as taboo in my generation growing up is now deemed acceptable. I mean, I have gay friends, but it wasn't out there. I felt sorry for them because they had to hide their true, I don't judge them as long as they're happy, but just don't shove it down my throat.
Right. No, I think we all had gay friends. I've talked about one of my dear friends by the name of Ron Johnson, who's deceased now. And when I first met him...
he was a great broadcaster.
Right. Well, no, this guy's a different guy I'm talking about, Lou. But when I first met him, I was a little intimidated because, I was in college and everything he would say, he would go, "Oh, girl, Miss Thang," and he would snap his finger at me and go, "Miss Thang, get over it, girl." And he was entertaining. But what I learned tremendous respect of the gay community is he died before gay marriage, and his own parents shunned him because at the time to be gay in the black community was a no-no, a major no-no.
Oh, yeah.
And his mother. Go ahead, Lou.
I have 2 gay cousins, and I went to a wedding of my male cousin and his male husband, whatever you. And it was a happy event. As long as they're happy, I could give about what their sexual orientation is. They're happy. They're in love. Good enough for me.
That's the way I feel about it. There used to be a gay bar around 72nd in Columbus, and one of my buddies wanted to go in, and I forgot the circumstance. So we went in. The only time I wasn't comfortable, and I shouldn't admit this on the radio, there's some things that shouldn't be said, but I'm going to say it, Lou, because that's just who I am. When I was uncomfortable was this guy touched my backside and then looked at me like, "Are you interested?" And I was like, Dominic. "No, I'm not interested." But hey, Lou, thank you.
Leather bars.
Right. Thank you for the call. 800-848-9222. Let's go to Diane, line 2 in Queens, New York. Diane, what's on your mind?
Hello. You don't just get to the point. You cut to the chase. I really respect your approach. You have a great approach.
Well, thank you.
Really. Because you make it so interesting. The most boring political crap, you make it really interesting. I just wanted to say that nobody bothers our wonderful Governor Hochul about what she said about children in a certain area not knowing what a computer was.
Right, the Bronx.
But they bothered Trump. They bothered Trump about the most minute little details.
Correct.
You know, they give a pass to the ignorance, like of Mandami and such. You know, I don't understand that phenomenon.
Well, you're correct, Diane. And Governor Hochul's a nice lady, but that's not the only thing she said. If Trump went to a black church in Buffalo and said, I'm giving you a tax rebate, but when you get your check, don't spend it all at the liquor store. Oh, my God, it would be the end of the world. But that's exactly what Governor Hochul did. Exactly.
You got that one, man.
So, I mean, you know, Diane, I guess different strokes for different folks, right? As long as you're not Trump, you can get away with a whole lot. Hey, Diane, thank you for the...
And yeah, you're Teflon if you're a Democrat. I don't like the word democratic also. You know how they say democratic talking? No, Democrat. Because democratic has a subliminal message to it. It sounds like it's, you know, but it's actually undemocratic. You know what I mean?
Well,
I like
Diane,
when they say Democrat, that's it. Don't say democratic. I really don't like that.
Right.
I
Fair
think
enough,
it's a
Diane.
Weird subliminal. You agree?
And there are weird subliminal messages that go out and get across to the public. You're correct. Thank you for the call. Now, normally on line 4, I would not refer to you as Salty because that's not your name. But I'll do it this one time. San Francisco, California. I believe in calling people by their names, not by nicknames. So what's your point?
Well, my real name is, well, anyway, you don't want to know.
Okay, but so why did you identify yourself as Salty?
Because that's what everybody calls me, okay?
Yeah, but you're calling a radio station. Your name is not Salty. Let's get to the point, Salty. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the point.
First time call. Thank you, Dominic, for being there for us. Nobody is born gay. You know it, and I know it.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Well, that's
not true.
It is true.
In most cases, it's true. I've seen some kids at age 4 or 5, and they are as gay as can be. No, not learned behavior. Not learned behavior. I've known 1 or 2 kids as young as 4 or 5, and they are as gay as can be.
Okay, well, if that's the way you want to think about it.
But that's the exception. I will acknowledge that's the exception.
United Nations? Why do we still have the United Nations?
Okay, now you're losing me. I don't understand where you're going with that.
All right, then Donald Trump. He pisses me off. I voted for the man.
Okay, wait. What does the United Nations... Wait a minute. I don't know what's up with some people. When I start talking, you just want to talk over me.
Sorry, Dominic.
Okay, listen. You said the United Nations, and then you went on to Trump. I don't understand the connection.
All right, may I speak, please?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, Donald J. Trump, a man who I voted for, has let me down, man. Why is there still a war going on in Ukraine? You know, why don't they just go in and get the...
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question here.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. So did Biden end the war in Ukraine?
No.
Okay, so what makes you think? Okay, so wait a minute now. What makes you think that Trump can just walk in and boom, the war's over?
You're right. That was naive of me to think so.
No, but what then candidate Trump said is that, and I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. Was that he would get it over, and I still believe that he's going to get the war over with. But things take time. You're dealing with Putin and you're dealing with Zelensky. Trump doesn't just get to wave a magic wand and say, you're going to accept this, you're going to accept that, and now the war is over. That's too simplistic, and it's just not realistic. It's not realistic at all. Let's go to line 2. Sandra in New Jersey. What's on your mind, Sandra?
Well, happy Memorial Day.
And same to you and to all our great soldiers.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dominic. You know, I was reading an article in the New York Post about a young boy named Cody, and he has a disease called Sanfilippo syndrome. It's a debilitating illness that this child gets, and the child won't live into the teen years. That's how sad it is. So I thought of your wife's book, you know, how she talks about hope and support. And then I thought of Memorial Day and how people, you know, we want to thank all the soldiers, but we want to thank everyone that we love. We want to hold everyone close to us. So I just thought about that article that I read about Cody Carroll, and I thought about your wife's book that she wrote that I love. It's, you know, called More Than a Diagnosis. And I thought about the parents of that boy. If they ever could get to read that book, it might help her and the father too. I don't know. It's just a thought that I had. It's a sad story how, you know, we all have problems. We have to deal with them. And, you have to just realize your problems, be grateful for your problems because someone's might be even worse. I don't know. There's so many things on my mind tonight over this holiday because it's a special day. But this boy that's not going to live very long just broke my heart. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, all I can say, Sandra, is this as it relates to my son. And thank you for the comment. I'll pass it on to my wife. Couple of things I want to say quickly. Now that she's done this book on epilepsy and learning disabilities, a lot of people are, if you will, coming out of the closet to reach out to her and say, me too. I'm dealing with the same thing with my child, this, that, boom, boom, boom. As a matter of fact, one of my colleagues in New York that comes on after me, Walter Sterling, same situation with his family. That's all I can say for right now. He's going to have my wife on his show because I don't want to tell his story because I don't have his permission to freely discuss. It's up to him. But these types of illnesses, whatever it may be, they impact all families. And that's why I asked my wife to write the book, right? The one you're talking about, the adult one, is titled More Than a Diagnosis, because we're all more than a diagnosis. But when you have epilepsy and a learning disability, sometimes you're placed into that diagnosis, and that's it for life. That's the expectation on you for life, the lower than expectations. And so the only thing I can say, because you made a point, Sandra, about someone always has a situation worse than you. And so to all the excellent doctors down at the NYU Epilepsy Center on 34th Street, right? I still remember, this is going back maybe 10 years or so on. I still remember every now and then the children, and the parents don't have to pay anything. They fly their parents in from all over the world with epilepsy to see the best doctors in the world. They raise money to pay for this. And so if you come from, let's say, Alabama, and you've got to be in New York for a month, it's extremely expensive. And so, I'm not Debbie Downer. I'm like Mr. Positive. And my wife is not. And, she went through the why us for many years and so on. And it's depressing, and I'm trying to lift her up. And then we get to the NYU Center where our son had to go several times a year. And they put these like electrons on their heads, and they're monitoring, and they have to put a white cap on top of it. And they're monitoring electronically the seizure activity at nighttime, 24 hours a day. And it was at the NYU Center that when we got there, my wife was going through one of her moments, lower than low, and we saw kids that had to wear helmets with epilepsy. And that's because these were kids, and there still are kids right now. There are kids in America, kids in the world right now, Sandra, having seizures right now. It almost happened to our son where the medication could not control his seizures. Thank God it's under control, but it's a lifelong battle. He almost had a seizure as recent as a month ago. with a rolling of the eyes, and you got to sit them down real quick and hope for the best. But there are people, and that was an eye opener for my wife, that, she's upset about our situation, but these parents, their kids are having 20, 30 seizures a day and have to wear helmets. So you're right. There's always someone that's dealing with a situation that's worse than you are. I'll give you the final word, Sandra, before I take a break.
Well, all I can say is God gives you what you can handle, I guess, and we all have to take what we get and handle it like your wife handles. I love how your wife has been so devoted to your son. I love it. And she should be a role model. And she never once made him feel bad about anything. So that's what I love about her. And I think she's a great role model. And I think we have to, whatever God gives us, we have to just take it and do the best we can and be gracious about it and humbling and loving like your wife is to your son. So yeah. So I love that book. I loved it. And I'm going to read it again.
Thank you very much, Sandra. We appreciate the call. We see the other calls coming in. We're going to take a break. Folks, we have a lot of time with each other this Memorial Day weekend. I am coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. So I'm looking at my Twitter, at my X, and we see your telephone calls. We're going back to them momentarily. I'm here with you until 1 a.m. Dominic Carter here with you. Don't forget the morning show coming up. Mr. Katsimatidis is coming in. And by the way, folks, he doesn't phone this thing in. He will be arriving in just a few hours to do the morning show with me. We'll be part of a panel, and I greatly look forward to it. 6 to 10 a.m. Then I'm back my normal hour, 3 to 4, and then midnight until 1 a.m. And by the way, the 3 p.m. hour later on tomorrow, we'll be talking about the big protests. Mom Donnie, can you hear me now? The big protest on Tuesday outside Gracie Mansion. We'll be dealing with that Monday afternoon at 3 to 4 p.m. Looking at my Twitter, at my X, Yetta, who is one of our resident teachers. She's retired. She says, please do me a solid. Please introduce these interrupters and overtalkers to Mr. Click. They can't understand. And Yetta's making a great point here. And folks, I hope you hear this. Yetta says they can't understand. If they are talking, they are not listening. We don't process auditory skills at the same time as verbal skills. I love you for that, Yetta, but you folks think I'm crazy when it comes to the alligators. Oh, Dominic's got issues when it comes to the alligators. I don't think so. It's not me with the issues. It's the alligators with the issues. Guess what happened at the Bronx Zoo? Yetta tweeted this to me. Guess what happened at the Bronx Zoo? The last time I saw the alligators at the Bronx Zoo, I said, what are they feeding these things? Steroids? They look like dinosaurs. And they're very, sneaky. They look like they can't move very fast at all until you're locked in there with them. And then bam! And they got you. So what does Yetta send me? And I'm trying to get through all these tweets, folks. What happened at the Bronx Zoo? And you think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. What happened at the Bronx Zoo? Somehow in the alligator enclosure, a worker slipped and fell. And bam! The gator at the Bronx Zoo bit him in the arm. I think it's a he. So I've got to look at the full article. But those are huge alligators, huge alligators. You know what? I want to get to President Trump. Maybe I'll save that for next hour. Let me go to a call. Greg in Michigan is really a Trump hater, and he likes to disguise it by asking me a question. Let's see how he does it this time. Greg in Michigan, go right ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Dominic, Mr. Positive. I like what you're doing with epilepsy. I think that's very laudable. I'm very proud of you, and I want your wife and you to keep on doing this. This is what life's all about.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I guess the truce, or not the truce, but the agreement with Iran, because there's been so many ups and downs with it, can you really trust Iran with agreeing to anything? Because they are bad, bad people.
That makes
what do you think about
sense there. That's pretty good. You wanted to throw me for a loop on Memorial Day weekend. That's pretty good there, Greg. They can't be trusted. I think President Trump knows that. Therein lies the problem. But I do firmly believe that he's always playing chess. I know you don't agree with that, and that he's going to find a way to make this work. You say what before I move on?
No, that it's unique because a lot of people don't necessarily understand the way he plays chess, and it can be a little bit disconcerting with those that go, "What the heck are you doing there, buddy?" But yay, have a great Memorial Day weekend. And
same to you. Same to you. Thank you, Greg in Michigan. Thank you, Susan. I apologize. You were on hold for a little bit. Let's go to line one. Susan in Corning, upstate Corning, New York.
Yeah,
What's on your mind, Susan?
Yes, well, I believe that you will relate to this. I'm just like thinking about Memorial Day and the fallen, and that I worked in 55 Water Street in New York City, and in 1985, Mayor Koch, I know you know all this, Dominic, that's why I'm so interested in getting your feedback. He appointed not President Trump, Donald Trump at that time, who was a Democrat, to spearhead the fundraising for the Vietnam Memorial next to 55 Water Street, which was a $2.5 million initiative. And Donald Trump, at that time, a Democrat, put $1 million in and raised the rest of it. And that memorial there, which was just like the tip of the iceberg of the fallen, and Memorial Day, we need to realize this, and that so that I just want people to understand that President Trump is a true heartfelt patriot, and it has been way before he was ever president. And I know you were on the scene then. I'd love to get your feedback.
Well, everything you just said is true. Back then, the world was in love with Donald Trump. Back then, based on what Mr. Trump did to help society, to help people, that's why the entertainment world loved him. That's why the rappers were in love with him. That's why the rappers are still in love with him. But in public, they pretend just the opposite. I can go from issue to issue. How he rebuilt the what was now, well, it's no longer the Hyatt Hotel, but at 42nd and Lex, Donald Trump came in and got that done. The Woolman Rink that had been a disaster for years and years. And, he came in, got the job done, got the rink done, and got it done under budget and ahead of time. So he was known for doing things like this, for being very generous. It's only when he became a Republican officially and ran for president, and when he came down those stairs and told the truth about certain things, people didn't like it. They didn't like it, and they decided that he, had to go. But at least that they know that he wasn't going anywhere and that it was just getting started. We've got to take a break, and I am coming right back for hour number 2.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And here we are. It's Memorial Day, and it's important to understand, folks, that freedom is not free. To think that freedom is free is just an illusion. people have died for the rights that you and I have. Good morning. Dominic Carter here with you. Memorial Day 2026. The number to reach me this hour from around the country, 800-848-9222. Memorial Day, as we all know, it's a federal holiday today dedicated to honoring and mourning the military personnel who died while serving in the armed forces. So it's observed annually on the last Monday in May. It's marked traditionally, and you'll see this around the country, wherever you live at, not perhaps on the East Coast because a lot of rain here the last couple of days, but it's traditionally marked by community parades, gatherings, and it's also known as the unofficial start of the summer. But again, on the East Coast, I don't know about that. It's been rain for 3 days. So I'm going to start off. We see all your telephone calls, and I'm going to begin with some tweets. And the reason why I'm going to do that is, and then I'm going to mix things up. It's a holiday. And so we're going to take some of your telephone calls and get a little bit away from the format of what we normally follow and what we normally do. I'm also going to do something very disturbing. And I thought long and hard about this. But it's important. You know, there are people that said what happened October 7th in Israel, oh, it didn't happen to the degree that you said, the sexual assault. It didn't happen. It did happen. And I'm trying to mix things up. Because the first soundbite you will hear this hour is an Israeli witness who appeared on CNN recounting in very disturbing terms how Palestinian civilians laughed as they literally snatched a woman at random, pulling her out of a car, snatching her clothes off, and raped her repeatedly. You're going to hear this witness actually say what happened. And it's disturbing. And I thought about not using it. But I have an obligation to tell the truth. So looking at my Twitter, at my ex on this Memorial Day, the lovely Catherine Trunk. Catherine, hello to your lovely mom. Catherine says, certainly begs the question, how many times does a verifiable threat have to occur near the White House until the suspect is apprehended and detained? Catherine, capitalizing the word detained, the suspect had a prior record. President Trump needs better protection. Amen, Catherine. Again, regards to your mom. John Beckman says, I have compassion, but at this point, the so-called compassionate politicians and judges are getting us killed. You're 100% correct. He's referring to a comment that I made. Make mental institutions great again. It used to be a time in America when it was seen as the compassionate thing to do to lock people up that are mentally ill. And I say this as someone whose mother suffered from severe mental illness and for much of my young years was institutionalized from the state of Georgia to the state of New York at Pilgrim State, Rockland State, Bellevue, and on and on and on. That's my own mother. I don't understand why we've gone backwards and we're letting people that are mentally ill walk the streets. This man called himself, identified as God. This was not his first encounter at the White House before he was fatally shot. So let's see here. Before I get to the issue at hand, let me start with some of your telephone calls here. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out the best call to go with. Let's go with Barry, line 1, the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Barry, what's on your mind?
Hello.
Hello, go ahead, Barry.
Okay, it's actually Bobby. I'm on the Upper West Side.
Okay, well, it does say Upper West Side. I made a mistake, but it says Barry. I apologize. Please get to the point.
Yes. My uncles were in World War II, and they were such wonderful people. They made it out alive. And they contributed to our country. And now I see all of this crazy stuff, and our mayor is not helping. Our mayor is not helping.
So when you say
Dominic,
when you say you see all this crazy stuff, Bobby, what are you referring to?
I mean like he's demeaning the cops. The cops that I see, I live at 1 block from 96 and Broadway. So you know where 96 and Broadway is, right?
Yes,
so,
Bobby, please get to the point. Please, I'm short on time. Get to the point.
Mayor is not helping our cops. They're not. I see them. I see that every day. And Dominic, it's not like when you and I grew up. Okay, night.
Okay, thank you. I was listening to you intently, and I agree with you. Things are not the way that they used to be, Bobby. Thank you. We've got your name corrected now on my computer screen. I do apologize for that. Okay, we see all of your other calls, but let's get to it. The situation of one woman, one story from October 7th. Now, as you're listening to this, I want you to think that this could have been your mother, your sister, your grandmother, your cousin, to be brutally raped by a group of men laughing and then murdered. This is a witness that saw this encounter, and the men laughed about it, and the witness appeared on CNN.
They started to pull her clothes off. It was like a half a circle, and the girl was in the middle of the circle. And after they pulled the clothes off of the girl, they started to one of them started to rape her. And it was something like a 30 seconds. And after he raped her, he take a knife and kill her, murder her. And after he did it, he continued to rape the dead body.
What was the attitude of this group while they were doing this? Were they angry? Were they cursing? What were they doing?
They don't was angry. They always laugh. I think it was for fun. They murdered a lot of people for fun. They always laugh.
What did they do after they raped her and killed her? And what did they do after that?
They started to run after one couple, boy and a girl, that they saw, and they murdered them too.
With knives?
With a knife and the axes.
So, and part of it we left out because it gets to be a bit much. I want you to think about that. This is one of the reasons why I side with the Israeli people. Imagine that could have been your mother, your sister, your grandmother, perhaps your great-grandmother. And after done raping her, ripping her clothes off and having sex with her, killing her, and then having sex with her again. these are the types of people that we're talking about. These are the types of people that in cities like New York and perhaps in your city where people are protesting on their behalf, saying disgusting things like from the river to the sea, right? It happened just hours ago at JFK Airport here in New York. These are the things that are happening. Yes, it's Memorial Day, and we're going to get to a lot more this hour, but let's go to some of your more calls, some of your additional calls. 800-848-9222. Ruben, line 1, Brooklyn, New York. What's on your mind, Ruben?
Hey, how are you, Dominic? Well, happy Memorial Day. Wish you all the best. I just want to touch on some things with the October 7th issues that you brought up. I have family in Israel, and I myself, I'm an immigrant from the former Soviet Union. And when you talked about the Jews that were siding with Mamdani, they don't represent, in my opinion, the vast majority of the Jews that migrated and left, oppression under the Soviet Union and other countries. Because, if you look at the Middle East, Israel is the only real democracy that mirrors anything that's close to America, where you have people of all denominations, creeds, colors, sexes, that live together in harmony. And for the fact that these people don't even understand that, these people, the people protesting in New York streets, Chicago, and all over America, shows how disillusioned they are. And the propaganda game with Hamas, Iran, and all these other proxies is actually winning. Americans kind of need to wake up because, going against countries like Israel, for instance, is essentially going against America, because in reality, it's the only country that, shares our values that's in the Middle East. Europe is pretty much far gone. And, it's really sad to see where truth is being convoluted. My parents, when they see what's going on in the streets right now, they're shocked. They ran away from this in the Soviet Union. They literally fled with nothing in their pockets, and they made a life out of themselves and for their kids over here. And to see this is just, it's disheartening. It really is. What do you think about
Ruben, I couldn't have said it better. Thank you for the wonderful call. Greatly appreciated. It is disheartening to see what's going on. I've got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to jump head first into what happened this weekend at the White House. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. Dominic Carter here with you. 800-848-9222. Can we have a peaceful weekend without someone trying to do something bad against the President of the United States of America? I'm sure we've all heard of what happened this weekend. Mentally ill man, not his first time trying to come to the White House, when this weekend shots fired.
What is that?
Sounds like
fire. Now remember, folks, when the bullets are flying, so that's a reporter, she's doing a stand-up. She asked her cameraman, what is that? He says, it sounds like fireworks. Remember this. There's not a name on a bullet, right? So when the bullets are flying, it takes 1 second for that bullet to hit you in your heart, hit you in your head, over, life over. This is the reality of what's going on. And it's going on because of the rhetoric. We have to tell the truth, the rhetoric from the left. And these incidents are happening, and the left is saying, oh, they're staged. Oh, President Trump is behind them. All of this nonsense. Absolutely insane. I'm going to have more on this at the bottom of the hour. Let's continue with your calls. 800-848-9222. Line 2, David, New Rochelle, New York. What's on your mind, David?
Dominic, the first thing I want to say is thank you so much for your support of the Jewish people. I think,
of course, there's nothing to thank me for. What's right is right.
No, but it takes strength because, people listen to you, and there's obviously people who dislike you, and, it takes a courageous man to continue.
Hey, David, I'm going to give you your say. David, do I seem like the type of guy that gives a flying you-know-what to somebody that may not like me? Do I seem like that type of guy?
No, and I'm
not.
Admire you
I'm
for
not.
that.
And so that's why when people say thank you for me supporting Israel, I appreciate it, but I really don't get it, because what's right is right. I've been to Israel 4 times. To go there is to understand that that the Israeli people have right on their side. I'm sorry, it's not right what happens to the Palestinian people, but they need to go thank Hamas and ask Hamas why they putting them in that position. And frankly, you shouldn't be applauding the horrible things that Hamas does. Go ahead, David.
So I wanted to just talk about what happened with Spain. So I did a little research, and the President Trump and his council or his administration, they decided they were going to have planes leave from Spain. They didn't do their homework. I did a little investigation, and it turns out they have to go through NATO, which takes a long time. So I'm thinking, what do we have the base there for if we're not able to just say, you know what, pilots, take off? You follow what I'm saying? Unless it's just a warehouse to keep planes.
No, I follow exactly what you're saying,
because
David.
It makes us look weak. They should have counseled the president.
Wait, David.
Yes.
What makes you think that maybe the president hasn't made this made public to show Spain's position on this? Remember what I said? He's always playing chess.
Yeah. What I'm saying to you is, and you don't have to agree with me, they should have taken care of all the fine documents to get the permission to have those planes leave at a moment's notice. They didn't do their homework.
I hear you. I think they did do their homework. But thank you for the great call, David. I'm going to take this back up in a few minutes. I'm up against a hard national break in a second. So that's why I can't do it right now. On this Memorial Day, we're taking your telephone calls, 800-848-9222.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back on this Memorial Day. If you're listening to us in the New York tri-state area, I will be back in just a few short hours, 6 to 10 a.m. on the morning show in New York with the owner-operator of the Red Apple Audio Networks, Mr. John Catsimatidis, and a panel. Jake will be with us as well. That's coming up from 6 to 10 a.m. It's going to be a very, very good show on this Memorial Day. We're all set, as they say, locked and loaded. Maybe I shouldn't say that these days in terms of what happened at the White House. 800-848-9222. Before I go back to your telephone calls, let's deal with Washington, right? Oh, boy. The attempts on the president's life, these nuts that are out there, and you just leave them walking the street. The compassionate thing to do is to lock them up. This man thought he was God, had worked at Amazon, been evicted, blah, blah, blah. On the radar screen of the Secret Service, and he's allowed to stay out. When if he had been locked up, an innocent person wouldn't have been shot. He wouldn't have been killed. The White House press corps wouldn't have been scared to death. This is News Nation, from what it sounded like Saturday evening.
Panic outside the White House. We're following this breaking news. Possible shots fired near our nation's capital at the White House. We have News Nation's Chris Flanagan. We just heard from him. He was shoved off the property and his live shot position to go inside the White House press briefing room towards safety at the direction of those Secret Service officers who you just heard from. Chris, give us an update. Where do things stand? What's happening right now in the briefing room?
So, Alex, we are still in lockdown in the briefing room. We have not been have not given all clear to leave. We still see Secret Service out on the lawn, the north lawn here of the White House. They're still out there. We are inside. Again, we heard about 25 or 30 rapid, what sounded like gunshots right after the 6 o'clock Eastern Time hour, right after we did our live shot with you for News Nation and Secret Service. They just hurried everybody in the press briefing room, getting us in here as quickly as possible, yelling, shots fired, get down, get into the press briefing room.
So I'm listening to that, and it's horrible about what occurred. But while I'm listening to that, I'm thinking about Chicago. Oh, C-Town. And its mayor, Brandon Johnson, right? When they protest, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Well, all lives matter. And apparently in Chicago, Mr. Mayor, Black lives don't really matter. So I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about President Trump. I'm coming to President Trump in just a second. But over the weekend in Chicago, I think 21 people shot, including children, police officers injured. I'm just making a point. Right? Oh, you can't say that, Dominic. You can't say that because it's a black mayor in Chicago and you've got to support the black. No, I don't. I have an obligation to the truth. Oh, you can't do that. You have to protect us, Dominic. You're one of us. No, I'm an American first and a journalist second. An American first, a person of color second. I don't even understand why that's relevant, really, in 2026, when you can do anything in America that you're willing to work hard for. So on Friday, President Trump, folks from around the country, was here in New York. With one of our Congress members, Mike Lawler. And he came to a suburb of New York City, which happens to be the suburb where I live, which is Rockland County, New York. He happened to go to the community college for which my son graduated from, which is Rockland Community College. And then my son went on, like many kids do, to earn his 4-year degree. Many of you have heard me tell the story. Because of my son's epilepsy, learning disability, we were told he could never graduate from high school, which I thought was laughable, right? But it scares me because in a single parent household where you have a mother that's struggling to make it and you tell her that her child doesn't have the ability to graduate from high school, how many mothers believe that nonsense, right? And act on it. But I want you to listen to President Trump, in which he was talking about the current conditions in New York. And folks, you live here in New York, you know, Houston, we got a problem.
Great, Mike. It's terrible things are happening. However, we have to take the good with the bad. Companies are leaving. Rich people are leaving. People that pay a lot of money. All these rich companies, big, fat, beautiful companies, they have jobs and they have money and they're leaving, and nobody's stopping them from leaving. New York can never, if we don't stop this, and I'm for you, and I'm helping you in Washington much more than I'm supposed to be helping you, believe me, New York can never be the same if it's losing its tax base, and the people that pay 85% of the taxes are leaving. And we're taking in illegal immigrants. Oh, they're wonderful people and all, but they're not paying any tax. They're taking your money. They're taking your money. The people that pay 85 to 90% of your taxes are leaving. And you know, when they go, they never come back. They never come back. Nobody calls them. Nobody does anything. Nobody talks to them. Nobody says, please don't leave. We'll give you a tax rebate. We'll do anything. Don't leave. But they're leaving. They're going to Florida. They're going to Tennessee. They're going to Texas. They're going to South Carolina, North Carolina. They're going all over the place, but they're leaving, and we can't let it happen. It's a great place. We can't. Bruce will stop it. Mike will stop it. They're all going to stop it. They'll bring them back. On top of that, the streets are dirty. The crime is out of control.
And so, folks, you live here in New York, you know that crime is indeed out of control. So I'm going to go to Cyrus, line 3, Staten Island, in just a second. We see all your calls. But I want to focus on Chicago. Oh, Chicago. Brandon Johnson. All I can do is laugh. So the police chief in Chicago making an excellent point. Now, over the weekend in Chicago, 21 people shot. Now, I know that shouldn't be news because it happens all the time. 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, I'm being sarcastic about it shouldn't mean anything. 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds. And what does Brandon Johnson do and mayors across the country? They take your taxpayer money and they give it to migrants. And then there's no money for anything else. Now, why in the world would you care about a migrant if you're an official, elected? I'm not talking about the humanitarian thing. I'm talking about, okay, let me stop. That's not Dominic. I'm trying to be politically correct. It's not working. Stop letting these migrants pimp you. That's Dominic talk. They're pimping you. Just like you know what on the corner. That's out there, whatever. They're pimping you, still pimping you. It's time for this nonsense to end. But the police chief in Chicago made a great point. These kids that are out there wilding, acting like wolf pack. Oh, Dominic, you can't say that. These are kids of color. You can't point out that they're throwing chairs at each other, that they're stabbing each other, that the girls are twerking on the cars, doing whatever, twerking on men. You can't say that, Dominic. That's not nice. Don't point that out. Well, the police chief in Chicago, who happens to be a man of color, says it's one thing if kids are wilding because they're hungry. But it's quite the other if they're wilding for the sake of it, and they will, according to the police chief, be arrested.
There's a difference. If I have a kid who steals because he's hungry, then that's a kid that we should be feeding, not locking up. But when I have a kid who decides that with a $700 gun that he's going to point it in the face of an elderly woman and force her to an ATM and draw out her savings, that's a choice that you made to commit a heinous crime, and you have to be held accountable for it. So those types of crime create trauma in other people. We have to start thinking about victims. We have to focus on the trauma that it causes other people in this city, and we have to put an end to it, and we have to hold those accountable who are creating those acts.
So, police chief, let me give you some help. Lock them up. Cyrus, line 3, Staten Island. Happy Memorial Day. What's on your mind?
You got it 100% correct. If you don't cage them, and they're going to kill you. And I don't care if they're 15 years old. You don't go after the parents. You go after the kid. The person who commits the crime is the person who needs to be locked up. And and you see in the last, not even 5 years, not 10 years, the Democrat Party has been pushing the dumbest people to the top in California and Chicago. Now, with Winston Sears was running against this Spamberg or whatever. You notice not one of these people have half a brain, and they're cowards. They're going for the money, because if you follow the mayor of Chicago, you follow the money he's been getting in donations and whatnot, same as AOC and Ilhan Omar, you'll see it's money and their cowardice. Remember when Mr. Lemon went into that church? He wouldn't dare do that in a black church, because there are grandmothers who would slap his black ass out right out the door, and he knows it. And Mandami, I hope people finally believe me, Mandami is here to tank the economy. He's not here to do anything else. And the Jews are the easiest target for them to go after. But if they can take down the Jews, they're going to take down everybody else. and you know his wife is a straight up racist, and he believes the same thing. Now, were you ever at any time in your life considering voting for Mandami? Did he ever fool you? He didn't fool me.
Are you asking me a serious question?
Because look at how many people thought, oh, well, maybe we could vote for him. He's just making a mistake. But I think he'll do the right thing.
He barely won. He barely won, and would not have won without another candidate in the race. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, but look at our real problem is look how many dopey people voted for him. You see those people who were performing, doing their performance at JFK. Those dumb people are the ones who will vote for him, and they put up any stupid Democrat, as long as he's got a D, they'll vote for him. They don't care what kind of hatred it is. Look at that Nazi that they voted for. The guy said, I want to kill my opponent and I want to kill his kids. And they voted him into office.
As Attorney General of Virginia.
Yep. So our biggest problem is stupid people who will continue to vote for these people. I mean, I'm glad that Dershowitz got off the plantation. I'm glad that Dov Heiskin got off the plantation. But look how many people are staying with the Democrats.
You're correct. You're correct.
That's
and I don't know what to do to get through to these people. They just, thank you for the call. They're just not going to see it. They hate Trump no matter how good he does. And at the end of the day, let me just say this to the Trump haters. Trump is going to be okay, folks. Are you? Trump is fine. Are you? Trump is going to be great. Are you? Those are all rhetorical questions. I've got to take a break on this Memorial Day. We're going to do exactly that. We're coming right back with more of your calls. 800-848-9222.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And back to the phones we go on this Memorial Day. Line 1, Benny Bayside. Benny, good morning. What's on your mind?
Good morning, buddy. As far as all the Democrat candidates, as far as Mandani, he ran and he literally said in his ads, like, yeah, I'm raising your taxes. If you earn a paycheck in New York, I'm going to try to take as much money as possible from that. He was no bones about it. He was straight up about it, as opposed to any other Democrat in Chicago or wherever else. He was straight up about that. As far as all his programs that he's implementing, do you see the numbers on these programs? We're going to improve this library. $13 million. Whoa. What are we making these walls out of? Gold? I got to talk to the general contractor here. It's amazing these numbers that he's throwing out as far as these contracts. But Mandani was straight up about that. I totally disagree with him. And people ask me, why do I vote conservative? It's a very simple answer. I work 10 hours a day. Liberals, yes, sir. Yeah.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening. I'm agreeing with you when you say you work 10 hours a day.
Liberals take 3 hours of my pay. Republicans only take 2 hours of my pay. Hello, I want to keep most of my money that I earned. It's as simple as that. When these kids ask me, why do you vote conservative? It's one simple answer. I work. Do you work? Yes. Do you work? Yes. Do you want to keep most of the money that you earn? No, I'd rather donate it to this cause and that cause. And you never hear that. And again, with all these things that he's implementing, these things have been done before. Like, hello, let's just open up a book. Oh, Detroit. No, it didn't work in Detroit. Let's open up the book.
Right.
It's
and
amazing.
The supermarkets didn't work either. But that's not stopping
$9 million for a supermarket. Are you kidding me? I mean, again, what are they making these walls out of? imported Italian marble. I mean, where do you come up with these numbers? And of course, when the city says $9 million, well, we only went over budget by $24 million. When the city never comes under budget,
Right.
But again,
right.
In the private sector, a general contractor tells you $10 million, and it came up $11 million. Like, oh, okay, we came up $11 million. That's acceptable. And that general contractor still works. If that general contractor comes back and says, at $36 million, you'll never see that general contractor again.
Right.
But, unfortunately, New York City seems to have the ability to spend money like crazy.
Right, and it's ridiculous. Benny, thank you for the great call on this Memorial Day. Let's go to Eddie, line 3, Babylon. Eddie, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. A friend was talking to me about how can we split the Democratic Socialist Party away from the Democrats and make them their own to, make them fail. I texted John. I know John, and maybe you guys will talk about it in the morning. What are your thoughts on it? It has to be legal legislation.
You're not going to separate them because because if you're a Democrat, why would you let those votes go out the window when half of their platform is your platform anyway?
Right, that's what I think.
So it's not. They're not going. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to split them up. I wish you could, but it's not going to happen.
The real old school Democrats, or some people call them Democrats. I have a sister that's just oblivious. They don't know what's going on.
Right. Most of the people supporting the Democrat Party, with all due respect to them listening, are completely oblivious to what's going on. Thank you, Eddie, for the call. Vincent, you got 30 seconds here. Go right ahead.
In 1967, I went to school with a guy who was busted many times for mugging people. And the last time he got caught, the judge told him, he says, I'm going to do you a favor. He says, either I'm going to put you away in jail for 5 years or you're going to join the service. Now, an officer and a gentleman didn't even come out yet, but remember what the role Lewis got.
Okay, you got to get to the point, Vincent. We're running out of time.
But that's it. Put these guys in the service.
Put them in the service. Put them somewhere. Put them somewhere, Vincent. Folks, I'm going to be taking a few hours break. If you're listening in New York, I am back with Mr. Catsimatidis at 6 a.m., 6 to 10 a.m. Folks, do me a favor. Have a great Memorial Day and thank a member of our military.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?